off, let's talk about what you should have turned in, which is your recipe. As I told you guys, I've graded some. I haven't graded some. I will try to keep going on those once you guys are working on your quiz. And if I haven't graded yours yet, look for it probably today. I'll get those done. So if I asked you to fix something up, if you didn't quite get the commands or you didn't quite follow the directions, just do it again. Thanks, Quentin. I was going to say, remind you about that. I'll get to that. So I'll recheck those. Like I said, once you're working on things. And again, if you missed something, whatever, I always give you a chance to get some points back. So don't be discouraged if you didn't do well. Most of you did do well. So, all right, if that is not done, that should be your first priority, right? After this quiz, because that's a 50-point assignment. You don't want to take a 0 on that. Another reminder is over the weekend, if you are interested in your Crédito Extra, that is due on Monday. Remember, I gave you a little description. You can reread that. But that involves acting out your recipe, right? Pretending like you're actually making it, kind of picture yourself on like a cooking show. And you can get some props from your kitchen and just do a little recording right on Canvas. So there's a little button, you can just make your own recording. So that is an option. Otherwise, let's talk about the speaking thing. So if you're here, you could have potentially picked up a piece of paper. If you are not here, it is linked under your current lesson, but I'm just going to screen share it and then I can kind of talk about it with everybody. So let's look at that together here for a second. Not that you really need to look at there on your paper, but I'll kind of point things out. So let me share this real quick. All right, so this is the document I'm talking about. It's on your current lesson. I don't know, it's probably linked there under number 1, actually, because I knew I was going to talk about it before the quiz. So here's the deal. If you have done the speaking with us first semester, it is pretty similar setup. You will notice, and I will point out again, that we did put this, so this is a grade. This is going to be your last grade for the semester. So as you know, finals are a little different this year. And we will talk about those on Tuesday. But we wanted everybody to make sure that you were doing the speaking and that you were best on the speaking. So our little tricky way of doing that was putting it into your grade as opposed to putting it into your final. So it may work in your favor or, you know, it may not. But the good thing is that you have the ability to prepare this. All right. So if you'll remember from first semester, actually we gave you 15 questions. We decided to shorten it. Okay. So if you look down here, you have 10 questions. All right. So you have 10 questions basically that are relevant to what we've done this semester that you need to make sure you know what they mean. You need to make sure that you prepare and practice an answer. And then we will do those, you and me, sometime starting on Wednesday. All right, so my hope is to get through as many as I can on Wednesday, and then that will spill into Thursday. The dates for that are on here. So what I'm going to ask you to do on your own today is make sure you read through all the details, okay? I'm not going to spend the time because I do want to get to your quiz here in a second. But basically the gist is I will ask you the questions. They will be random, so I'll ask you a couple from the top and a couple from the bottom. I think it says on here I will ask you about 4 or 5 questions. You're going to answer without your notes. So you need to understand the questions. You need to have memorized your answers, practice your answers so you can present those to me. Let's see. And I kind of gave you a little hint. So these 5 are all imperfecto. So you'll need to make sure I'll be listening for an imperfect answer, what you used to do. And then these 5 are set up so that you use preterite. So more telling me what happened, what you did. Right? It's not an ongoing thing. I would suggest that you look at your rubric at some point because these are the 4 things that I listen for. Okay. Number 1, and obviously worth the most points, is comprehensibility and expression of ideas. Can I understand what you're saying? Right? Can you understand the question? And can you give me a reasonable answer in a sentence in Spanish? Okay. Now, the other things kind of all feed into this, right? So grammar and pronunciation are separate, but they're also kind of combined, right? If your grammar is terrible, it interferes with my ability to understand you. If your pronunciation is terrible, it interferes with my ability to understand you. Now, If it's reasonable or it's pretty good, right, then usually these three things are kind of correlated, right? And I can tell who's practiced. I mean, the good thing about this is I'll have people that have like a D or an F and they prepare and they really practice. You can get an A on this, right? So it's really just a matter of you practicing and putting in some effort. And then, you know, unfortunately, I do sometimes have people that have A's and B's and they don't practice and then they end up with a low grade. But the ability to get an A or a B is there for everybody. You just have to make sure that you're prepared. All right. Now, risk taking is the other thing I always like to talk about. All right. Me gusta la pizza. Is that a sentence? Sure. All right. Is it a great sentence? No. First of all, it's not using the preterite or the imperfect, right? Second of all, the word pizza is like the easiest word you could possibly use, right? Pizza, tacos, anything that's a cognate, that's exactly the same word. Let's try not to use it. Unless you tell me three other good words and then you throw in pizza at the end, that's fine. But I want to see, you know, can you show me that you've learned something this semester? Have you learned a few new words? Right? Have you learned your preterite and your imperfect? Have you learned, I don't know, maybe instead of using pizza, you use the word camarones, right? Or mariscos, or, you know, think about adding in a few foods that we have talked about, or just a harder food, right? Say you love strawberries. Great. Okay. It's not on our vocab list, but show me you know the word fresas, right? Don't just use pizza. All right, so those are the things that I do look for. Also, if you tell me two things that you used to do, or two things that you like, or two foods, or whatever, is that better than one? Absolutely, right? So this is your chance to really show me what you can do. So put in your time. That's why I'm giving you the questions today. Most people will finish the quiz in a half hour or less, right? And that will give you a good 15, 20 minutes to start on it now, to work on it over the weekend. This is your only assignment on Monday. Tuesday, I need you to come in here ready to go, ready to practice. Okay, I will give you ample opportunities to ask questions. We'll go through them together, but you need to have your answers prepared and ready to practice, right? Otherwise, you're behind the game. So when I see you again, you need to know what those mean. You need to have some good answers that you've been practicing. And then I can pair you up with people. I can answer your questions. You can do a practice with me. We'll probably do one all together. So Tuesday is all about you practicing. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to do these. So you need to put in a little time. Questions on this? Okay, again, by the rubric I told you. So the rubric basically gives me 25 points and I'll double it. So it's a one more quiz grade. It's a 50-point grade. What else? That make sense? Okay. Nothing. I got it. Okay. All right. So let's put that away and let's get focused on this quiz. So we will start here in a second. Let's see, I got almost everybody here. And the first part is a little listening. So we'll do that one together first. I think it's pretty straightforward. So don't get stressed out about that. And then we'll let you have the rest of the period to work on your own. Zoom friends, always stay on the Zoom until we are done, until you are done with the quiz. Then you can leave. You do not have to check in with me. Have a great weekend and start working on your speaking questions. Also, don't forget, check your recipe, make sure that's in good shape, and extra credit over the weekend if you want to do that. All right, good. Let me turn on my lights and I'll give you the code and we'll do this listening. If you got notes out, please put them away. If you got a phone out, please put that away. And pretty much ready. You ready? Oh, you know what? My computer, I forgot. I had to restart it. So it's actually going to take me just a second to pull up the listening. So everybody's waiting for the password. Are you there? If you're not, get to your current lesson and we'll give it to you momentarily. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, password is comida. Comida.